Hi, I'm Lydia Gillman, host of the Stepping into Purpose podcast, and I am obsessed with helping people overcome fear and resistance and step into their power and shine their light. We are all here for a big reason, and when we follow that call to live our most authentic life, we are not only fulfilling our own highest purpose, but inspiring others to do the same. This is what will truly change the world for the better. Every week, I'll drop a new episode sharing stories and conversations I've had with inspiring people who have followed their calling and are living the life their soul intended. Welcome to the Stepping into Purpose podcast. Hi, it's Lydia Gillman, and welcome to the Stepping into Purpose podcast. So it's June the 1st today, and it's halfway through the year, if you can believe that. And it also marks more or less 6 months since my family and I really took this leap of faith and left our home back in New Zealand, moved to a whole new country, and really set up a new life here. And it's been like living on high speed, to be honest. It's been a real roller coaster and quite intense. It's been amazing, and I won't change anything, but it has had some quite challenging moments as well. And this past week has been really quite challenging. It started last week when my husband came home from work, really distressed because he'd just received a call from his employer saying that he'd been made redundant and he only had 2 weeks left of work. So that put us all in a bit of a panic. I'm always the optimist and kept saying, oh, it'll be all right. You know, as in my heart, I know everything does work out. It does work out. Everything's happening for us. But our minds can jump into fear. And by the next morning, I was feeling quite a lot of fear as well, as was my husband. And he was almost sort of out of his body. He was in such fear, to be honest. He kept saying, oh, we'll just move back to New Zealand, where our house is rented out, but we could stay with family for a little while, I suppose. He was really thinking that this was it, even though, of course, jobs come and go. And, you know, in the big picture, it's always figure outable. We've just moved into a new rental house here, only about a month ago. The rent we pay is about twice as much as what our mortgage was in New Zealand. So it's a bit more of a stretch. And we really need that consistent, regular income coming in just to pay for all that. So I applied for a job, which was quite inappropriate, really, and something I probably would have been quite miserable at. But I was in a bit of panic as well. And I applied for it. And then I found out I didn't get the job. I didn't even get an interview. And that really affected me too. It's like, oh, even this job, they don't even want me, even though it really wasn't meant for me. A lot of sort of ego stuff came with it. Then the next day, my husband found out that he'd gotten a job he applied for. He applied for one job and he got given it on the spot. So everything was fine. And thank God I didn't get that job where I probably would have been really miserable. So everything always happens for us. But I feel like things have really been pulled to the surface. Issues, traumas, fears have been coming up for so many of us. My family, but also friends have had things come up in the last week or so. And really they're here just to be released so that we can have them come out of us and witness them and then let them go so that we can be free of them. You know, they don't serve us. So that's often what happens when we're going through these challenging times. But yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. It can be a lot. But today really feels like a big reset. And I started off the day with a breathwork class, which I've never actually done a full breathwork class. It's almost like an exercise class, but you're really just lying on your yoga mat, breathing. And that was a really new experience for me. And I really liked it. I did get a bit restless and I found I wanted my body to move because I'm used to doing yoga and things. So I did move my body at times and that was fine. But the transformative power of the breath, which I've been hearing about for so long, it's really quite true. I really did feel a big shift. And it felt like I was saying, the things which have been coming up to be released, even in just that hour-long breathwork session, it really did feel like things were coming up and moving through me and moving out. Breath is our most basic human need, and it makes sense that trauma and fears can be released just through breath work. So that was really exciting to experience that. I really did feel a shift, and it's really set me off for the day in such a better place. So yeah, I'm feeling the reset and feeling really positive, and just having that knowing that everything happens for the best. And if you're going through a hard time right now, everything really does work for us, for our highest good. Things which don't seem great in the moment are always for the best. And it's the same with my husband's job. It was for a reason. I think that initial job, the organization was quite chaotic, but it came at the perfect time when we needed that solid job so that we could get a rental. Here, you can't secure a rental unless you have a job to show that regular income. So it doesn't really help if you're self-employed or freelancer. So the timing was perfect, and yeah, it all worked out so well. But I think this job will suit him a lot better and just be a bit more professionally run. Everything happens for the best, even though it's really hard to see it right now. Everything is happening for us. So know how loved you are, and you're here on this earth for a reason. You're here for a big reason. So remember how important you are. Sending so much love. And we're on YouTube now, so I'd love it if you could subscribe and yeah, share it with your friends if it resonates with you. I'm super excited to be adding video because that's really my favorite medium. And it's been a roundabout way for me to set up a YouTube channel, first starting through the podcast platforms and now eventually getting to YouTube. But it feels really aligned. And the podcast will still be on those podcast platforms as well. So you can choose where you listen or watch. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe and share it with your friends if you think that this will be useful to them. Thank you so much. Bye.